Hi grade 10s, hope you're having a wonderful day. We're going to do some graphing sine and cosine functions. So what is really nice about this, and as a bit of a warm-up, if you want to pause the video and try graphing the two functions sine of x and negative sine x on the same graph, as well as the cos of x, negative cos x. You don't have to do this on your own. Feel free to follow along, but I do recommend that you do. Quickly, remember that my scale is already here. Sine starts in the middle, goes up, middle, down, middle. And notice that I'm oscillating from +1 to -1. These are specifically for the graphs of sine and cosine, where the amplitude is 1. So that's the beautiful sine graph. And what's going to happen is when I see a negative value out in front, that negative value actually causes a rotation about the x-axis, so it's an inversion. I still have the same starting place, but instead of going up, sine goes down and has the opposite pattern. So you can see that as I go through here, I have that nice kind of helical pattern growing. Oh, I just realized there's an issue on this graph. Wondering why that didn't look right. Okay, beautiful. Same pattern is going to happen here. If I look at doing the cosine of x, I'll do that in pink, because why not? Cosine starts at the top. Max, min, max, middle, min, middle, max. Follow the pattern the other way and complete the function. So this is the graphing we went over last time, graphing sine and cosine graphs. If I look to do the negative, again, it's that exact same inversion. Instead of starting at the top, I start at the bottom. And my pattern oscillates the same way, but just in the opposite direction. Beautiful. Positive versus negative cosine graphs. So we see a reflection about the x-axis. A out front is for amplitude. K in the middle is for our period. Remember the formula? This is like a horizontal stretch, is 360 divided by the K. The D value here is my phase shift, just like a horizontal shift, but new fancy words. And C here is my vertical shift or translation. In today's class, I'm going to start out by graphing two functions, and you're going to have the rest of class to go through and graph the other two. These two ones are a little bit more complex, and then it goes through graphing functions. What I'd like you to do later is you're going to be using Desmos to just look over your work. So here from last time, my amplitude is 3. Please make sure you don't write -3 because amplitude is always the absolute value. Period is still going to be 360. My phase shift is 90 degrees, and vertical shift is 1. If you're unfamiliar with these things here, this is from our previous lesson. So let's get through graphing this. I know that I'm going to have a shift 1 unit up, so I'll draw in my new midline. Beautiful. And I'm going to go 3 units above that and 3 units below that for my 1, 2, 3 midline, or for my amplitude. The next thing I do is I think, where is my starting point? I'm not going to start graphing at 0 because I have a phase shift. The phase shift tells me I need to start 90 degrees towards the right. I know that sine starts in the middle. In this case, though, it's not going to go up because of the negative value out front. Sine goes middle, down, middle, up. And notice I don't have a full rotation, so I'll go to the other side. Up, middle, down, middle. And I have that full rotation of my transformed sinusoidal function. Congratulations, you've just done a transformed sinusoidal function graph. Woohoo! I'm going to try out the next one beside it. My amplitude is 1. Period. Oh, don't let me trick you here. Y equals the cosine of 2 bracket x plus 90. Please make sure that 2 has to get factored out front. Same trick as before. So my period is 360 divided by 2, which is 180 degrees. What this means is my graph scale is going to change. It's actually going to happen twice as fast. Phase shift, 90 degrees towards the left, and there's no vertical shift. So I'll write in my midline, and my amplitude is just positive 1 here and negative 1. We're starting with the hardest examples, and you'll build the skills up so that at the end of the lesson while you're practicing, you will have these skills here. So this is kind of like a preview. Again, I'm starting at negative 90 because of my phase shift. Cosine generally starts at the top, so I'll draw that point in. But now I have to take into consideration my period. The period is 180. If I'm trying to think about my scales for a graph like that, to get the scale, always go period divided by 4. Because remember, there are 4 little intervals, so 180 divided by 4, which is 45 degrees. It means every 45 degrees, there is a maximum or minimum or middle occurring. In this scale, that's every 1.5 points. In general, I'll try to make the scales a little bit nicer, but we'll just do what we can with this one. So every 45 degrees, top, middle, bottom, middle, top. And notice I've done one full cycle in 180 degrees. Run through the motions again, just to kind of see that completed cycle on all sides. And that's there, not in the middle. Oh no, my green line went away. And we can complete it as such. Generally, we like to show 2 full cycles of a function. And here I've done more than that. I've shown about 3 full cycles. Okay. Here's what I would like you to do. Using a Desmos, so one person needs to have Desmos out. The reason, it's a good way to check your graphs, but also check on Moodle, not for the video, because the video is going to stop here soon, but for the completed notes. What that allows you to do is to check with the graphs. If you are interested in using Desmos to check, make sure that you change the settings just so you can get your graphs to look the exact same as the ones here. So your x-axis needs to be between negative 410 and positive 410, and the y positive and negative 5. So it'll just make your graphs the exact same as the ones on the page. Going through these, fill out amplitude, period, phase shift, vertical shift, graph your functions, starting just with stretches, and transformations, and ending, and you will see your homework is additional here. The most important part is that you get the graphs in the pictures in your notes completed first. Have a wonderful class, and I will see you guys on Monday. Thanks.